Hi everyone, Idaho Humvee here. As you can see, we are in my backyard. We're going to be getting a pretty good storm coming over the next few days. Like a foot of snow, single digit temperatures, maybe lower, somewhere around 35 to 55 mile an hour gusts of wind. You know, prime time to test your gear before you actually go out in the woods in the middle of nowhere where you might be stranded and freeze to death. So, I decided to set up my Marine Corps two-person combat tent. This is my primary one. I have two good ones and a display one for events. We'll see how well this one actually holds up. I did the four main corners with those big green stakes just because I don't trust the little guys that come with it and I like overkill. But it should have a nice Gore-Tex rainfly on it. There's no holes on this one, so it should hold up just fine. Going to be testing the rolled up green mats, see how well they perform inside the tent, whether they need to layer 1 or 2. I'll be using my inflatable air mattress and testing out a number of different sleeping bags. Obviously I won't be in them all night testing them, but I'm going to get in it and be like, okay, yeah, this definitely keeps me warm enough, this doesn't keep me warm enough, what do I need to change, all those fun little things. And I'll be doing the same with the ambulance, because while the ground does sap heat away from you, aluminum will as well. So I want to see how it affects it in there, because one, I like being cold, so I'm not all that worried, but I'm going to have a dog with me. I want to make sure my dog can stay warm. So mostly I'm doing this to test for him and my wife's sake, so that way I don't freeze to death and she's, seeing all this military stuff, which I'm sure everyone will be happy to help her with. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're supposed to have whiteout conditions. Some people are calling it a blizzard. If you actually live, in blizzard country, this is not a blizzard. This is just a lot of snow, a lot of cold, and a lot of wind. So naturally, everyone's freaking out here in Idaho, at least in the Treasure Valley. But yeah, stick around and we'll see how this all goes. All right, it is a couple days later. It is 6 degrees out here, according to the thermostat out front. As you can see, I have not been out here yet. My Marine Corps two-person combat tent seems to be intact, although covered in snow. The ambulance is obviously covered in snow. The doggos are enjoying a nice brisk morning out. German Shepherds, they do love the snow. Just don't leave them out too long, because they're too stupid to come in when they get cold. Nah, I joke. They're smart dogs. They just love the cold, even if it hurts them. All right, that might be a little problem. The tent done got compacted. So it looks like that bow collapsed a little bit. The front bow seems to be holding it up quite well. I'll have to clear the snow off that in a second. But we got somewhere around 9 inches of snow yesterday, day before yesterday. It just didn't get cold enough for me to come out here to warrant talking about anything. To me, 21 degrees is not cold. So 6 degrees, let's see if this will start. All right. Yeah, she's cold, but it hasn't melted yet, so she's not leaking. And now we wait and wait. Wasn't thrilled about starting. Started. I'll just leave the snow on there. She'll melt eventually. But 6 degrees with new glow plugs, appropriate Rotella oil, which I believe is just T4. I'll have to check in the garage. I don't remember offhand, but I think it's T4. Non-synthetic, just the original. But yeah, she started up, which means, in theory, I can actually winter camp with her and not get stranded. Granted, it's not negative 20, but God, if it's negative 20 down here in the Treasure Valley, we got bigger problems. Houses freezing and all that kind of stuff. But she did start up, so stick around. I'm gonna clean this off and start testing out some gear while it's still cold. All right, I cleared the snow off. Now she looks more like a tent. It's a good thing I put the rain fly on here, otherwise she would have completely collapsed. Keep in mind, this is actually a 3-season tent. It's not actually designed for winter. There's no Arctic layer, there's no nothing. It's just a three-season Marine Corps tent. Now, you know, the Marines, they use what they have when they have it. The vestibule did well. No major buildup in here at all. There's a little bit of moisture on the inside of the rainfly, but inside the tent, there's none, which is as it should be. You can see it's still partially collapsed in here because the poles. I'm gonna get in here, set up the military closed cell foam pad, put the Sportsman's Warehouse Rustic Ridge Elk Hunter -35 bag in here, and hang out for a bit. See if it stays warm, see if it gets cold, talk about ratings, all the fun stuff, you know, scientific stuff that totally brings people to this channel. But anyways, stick around. All right, I have the Rustic Ridge Elk Hunter rolled out in here. I forget how big this thing is. You can see how little space there is in this 2-person tent. It's a massive bag. Now, when I pulled it out originally, it was really compressed, and I treated it a little unfair in my initial unboxing review kind of thing in the ambulance because it was so compressed. I was like, oh, I doubt it'll handle -35. I still doubt that just as a standalone bag because ratings are important, but how they get the ratings is even more important. -35 could very well be survival status. It could be with a single base layer, 2 base layers, closed cell foam pad, air pad. All those things go into effect into how do you determine the rating. There's a big difference between survival and comfort ratings. So I'm going to get in here. I am wearing the military waffle top and the standard polypropylene long johns. I don't know what they're actually called. Sorry, base layers is what they're called. Everyone else knows them as, you know, long johns. I'm going to hang out in here for about a half hour. I'm going to keep the door open. That way I can actually have some light in here for recording. And I'm just going to sit here and chill, play some games on my phone, see if I get cold, see if I get warm, just on the military closed cell foam. Nothing fancy. It may take 1 layer or 2 layer because this bag, I bought specifically for Loki and my other dogs. So I want to make sure that it will keep him warm or them warm, depending on which one goes with me. Because my bag is also a -30 bag, or yeah, this is a -35, mine's a -30. I know it'll work well enough and I can wear base layers. My dog can't necessarily wear base layers. Well, they can. There's a company out in Canada. I might get a full snowsuit for them. Who knows? But they're not cheap. So in the meantime, yeah, let's get in this thing, get cozy, and hang out for a bit. Alrighty. So I just spent over an hour in this sleeping bag. It's now up to around maybe 10 degrees outside. Sun is shining on the tent, but with the rain cloth or rain fly on here, there's a little bit of moisture inside the tent just due to breath, because for a while there you were definitely seeing my breath. The bag itself on just one pad is doing pretty well. I had it partially open, that way I can emulate what my dog would be feeling, because I know him, he wouldn't want to be all zipped up in here, so I wanted a little bit of airflow. My hands are cold, but that's not surprising. I actually took off my polar watch cap, which is the military issue one here, micro fleece. And yeah, at 10 degrees, I would be just fine even with it open. Now this is kind of an extreme test because when you're winter camping, you're supposed to have your closed cell foam pad, an air pad, or even 2 air pads that are winter rated. I just did the 1 pad, then tent, and then snow, because I put this out after we had some snow, but not, you know, the 9 inches of snow. So this is kind of an extreme test. I would take this down to 0 degrees without hesitation. Keep in mind I am wearing a base layer. Ooh, I do have Costco, just the Kirkland merino wool socks turned inside out, because if you put them on the right way, they don't feel right. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but who knows. As you can see, this is obviously a dog household with all the fur. It is a cotton woven kind of fabric, so it is going to catch, you know, dog hair and all that. Moisture will be a problem. It can possibly freeze, so if you do winter camping without a tent or shelter, keep that in mind. It may actually freeze solid. It is a cotton flannel type inside. Normally I don't like those. I like the slick nylon style myself. But honestly, it's not bad, because normally my problem is, like, I'll have stuff like this on my nails, and it'll catch on here and have a problem and get caught and annoy me and hurt and all that kind of stuff. This one actually doesn't catch, so I'm actually really impressed with it. But it does have a hood that can be cinched up, which is kind of cool. So to help keep you all nice and warm, surrounded. One thing to keep in mind with sleeping bags is don't breathe in them, like don't completely cocoon in them. You put a bunch of moisture inside and you end up ruining your sleeping bag, not to mention you'll freeze. Key with winter camping is you want to be a little bit cold so you're not generating sweat, which can lead to hypothermia. That's why when you're being active out and about, when you're in the snow and all that, you have to be very careful not to sweat too much. Ventilate your clothing, wear base layers. I was actually out here wearing a military fleece jacket on top of my waffle top, and I was getting hot. And my pants were somewhere around here. Some 5-year-old crappy Walmart, you know, sweatpants. Nothing fancy at all. I mean, come on. These things are ripping just because I have dogs and I wear them out in snow all the time when you really shouldn't. But I was warm. I was plenty warm just with this base layer. So, I mean, this is kind of a partial review on the sleeping bag and the military waffle tops. They are awesome. I have some merino wool tops made by Killick, which is also a Sportsman's Warehouse brand. They are good. They're antimicrobial, all the fun stuff with that. But the big issue I have with them is they slip around. So if I put those on and then I put on, say, my sweatpants or a jacket or whatever, they'll move around, and next thing I know, my lower back is exposed to the wind because they kind of slid up on me. Or maybe I'm wearing the marshmallow pants from the military extended cold weather system, which is the level 7 stuff, and maybe they'll just slide down and they keep falling down and it's a pain. So that's the issue I have with merino wool. I'll probably wear that to sleep as an added base layer if it gets really cold. I have merino wool gloves too, which will be awesome. Because right now, I have the cheapy Costco outside gloves, which is not winter rated in any way, shape, or form. It's just thin leather and all that, but makes it easier to get down to the fence and screwing with the dogs and having fun. But yeah, long story short, on this sleeping bag, I'd do 0 degrees with the closed cell foam and a base layer. If I had my if I doubled up on these foam pads and I put my air pad out, I'd probably go -5, -10 with this, with a base layer. If it was really cold, I'd have to actually get a winter air pad, because my current one is, it's kind of a combo pad. It has a little bit of memory foam on top, which is kind of cool. I don't have it out here with me, but I picked it up at Costco when they were doing some demo. And they're like, oh yeah, come try this out. I'm like, they all suck. Like, no, this one doesn't. I'm like, okay. And guess what? I ended up buying the thing, because if you try it, sometimes it's worth it. But yeah, get out there, enjoy camping, play with your dogs, because you never know when you're not going to be able to anymore. That boy did not want to go inside. He's been outside for an hour, just chilling in the snow, because he loves the cold. Oh, that's the other thing too, is as kind of a reference point for my ratings on this stuff, I run warm. I like the cold. I've been out here in 10-degree weather, 20-degree weather, no gloves. I'm wearing freaking shorts, just because, yeah. Now, if there's wind, oh, yeah, then I want some base layers, some Gore-Tex, and who knows what else. Oh, I love that boy. He can entertain himself. It's great. You get it, Loki. But yeah, so I love the cold, so that's why my rating's on that. If you definitely run colder like my wife, I wouldn't do anything more than 20 degrees in this bag, just because, oh, I can tell you right now, she would be cold. So it all depends on your person too. That's why it's very important. Go out, test your gear before you have to survive in your gear, because you never know what's going to happen. I didn't expect this tent to partially collapse, but you know what? It'll be fine. It's just there was a lot of snow beyond its rating. Didn't expect that. Now I know. This bag, I didn't actually hold high hopes for. I'm actually impressed. So I kind of take back that little statement of, oh, I doubt it's a -35 bag. I bet it is if you have proper padding, if you have proper base layers. I'm pretty sure you could get down to near 35 for survival. I'd say comfort levels probably max 15 or -20. But yeah, until next time.